Well, welcome back into the Norfolk Cottage garden. We're filming this towards the end of August in 2020, and we've just had the first bit of rain here for about a month and a half, but it's only just wet the top inch or so really. I don't really think that's going to do very much for very long, but what has come is very welcome and is certainly going to lift some of these vegetables that are now really struggling with some of the heat that they've been having. It does seem to have perked up my perennial rocket. We have to keep this under a wire cage because the pigeons love it so much. It starts to get very woody towards the end of the season, but if you can keep it watered and fed, then that should go on producing some pickable rocket right up until the first frosts. These autumn raspberries are really in full fruit now. I've missed a couple of days picking these, and you can see if you do that they ripen extremely quickly, and if you leave them too long they'll be mouldy and inedible. So it's worthwhile picking over these on a regular basis while they're fruiting now. If you don't want to use them straight away, pop them straight into the freezer. They'll make an excellent jam. One job we are going to push on with this morning is to remove these French bean plants and these old lettuces. These have done very well, but by August this fresh regrowth on these, they've been cut and come again several times, but they are running to seed, and that's going to be really bitter to eat. So we're going to take these out, and the French bean plants, which have fruited really well during the season, you can see there is still some flower bug coming on those. I wonder whether to leave them or not for a bit longer. If they get some water we might well get a further crop off these, but these have struggled in this position with the drought. What I have got is a tray of some brassicas that I was wanting to plant out in here, so I think for today we'll probably just remove these lettuces and get a couple of rows planted out in here. I might push my luck and see if I can get a late crop of French beans off these plants. I hadn't looked at them close up before, but with those flower buds coming, there's a good chance there may be a bit of life still in these plants. These lettuces should come up quite easily. Maybe not. A bigger root system on them than you'd think, to be fair. There we go. Now we're just going to weed this border. There's quite a bit of seed coming up in this, and it's a whole mixture of things. Poppies, foxgloves, which you don't really want in a cut and come again salad bed, and this forget-me-not seedling, which tends to run wild throughout these beds, so we do let it seed. There is a little lettuce seedling there. Might be able to keep that in between my calibres and have it as a catch crop. Got my usual helpers. Yeah, don't think you'll be too impressed with that, will you, Ted? Nah. Right, so we're just going to prep that border, give it a good rake over and a clean up, and then we're ready to plant. And this is a little tray of seedlings that we purchased from the garden centre. I think they were labelled as Calibres. They may have been a curly kale, but we want to get these under the net because if you give them 5 minutes they will get covered with these little boys, and unfortunately once they get going on them they will desiccate this crop in under a day. So I'm going to have to unfortunately pick all these off if I want to grow these at all, and I'm going to have to go over those very carefully because you can see they're all at different sizes. Yeah, I don't think you're going to enjoy those, Ted. And then when we've cleaned them up we'll start planting this row out. And there we go, I've got a short double row of these planted out. We've given them a water in because I'm not confident we're going to get the rain we've been promised. And I'm just going to also put the remaining seedlings just in that seed tray under the covers to try and stop further butterflies laying their eggs on them. And I'll keep a close eye on those because they almost certainly will have some eggs on them that are going to hatch over the next 24 to 48 hours. So I'll have to pull the nets back over these quite quickly and then check them daily and remove any caterpillars that would otherwise decimate these young leaves and plants and really knock them back. So we'll keep them well watered, grow those on. See how my French beans come in. They've been spared now. I've seen the fresh blossoms coming on them. We'll see if we can get a later catch crop off those if we water them up. And we'll see how we get on with this.